Developing news after serving more than 30 years in prison, the Menendez brothers now eligible for parole. Susie.
Juan, a viral TikTok challenge leads to a 13-year-old being arrested and flames inside a classroom. Danny.
Hi, Susie. A little bit cooler out there today, but we are getting ready for a midweek warm-up with a little May Gray. We're timing out the best moments to get outside, Mike.
Hey, Danny, we've got a warning for our viewers that are State Farm customers. Your rates are increasing despite protests just like this. What the insurance commissioner has to say. KCAL News at 8 starts right now.
This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Welcome to KCAL News at 8. I'm Juan Fernandez.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Susie Suh. Developing tonight, the Menendez brothers are one step closer now to freedom.
KCAL News reporter Tom Waite was inside the courtroom when a Van Nuys judge ordered their resentencing.
Well, this day was 35 years in the making for the Menendez brothers. The judge in this case says they will be resentenced 50 years to life. That means they are eligible for parole now. Let's go to some of the video, actually some pictures here from the courtroom. No cameras allowed in the courtroom, but it was just a dramatic day all throughout the morning and afternoon. First, you had family members speaking, testifying on behalf of the brothers, why they should be released, why they were sorrowful for the murders, why they took responsibility, why the judge should give them that resentencing. Then later in the day, we heard from someone who served time with the brothers, who said that it was clear to him that he was helped by the brothers during his time in prison because of the way that they had accepted responsibility for their crime. Then came the most intense and dramatic moments of the day. That's when both Eric and Lyle spoke via video feed from prison. First, it was Lyle. He was very emotional. He spoke about how grisly the crime scene was, how it was his fault, how he pulled the trigger, how he should have gone to the police to ask for help but did not. Then Eric spoke. He was not quite as emotional, but it was still very intense. He talked about also taking responsibility, also talking about how he should have gone to the police as well. This was the first time during these proceedings we've really seen them show any emotion. They've usually just sat there and listened very intently. They haven't shown any emotion. The prosecution making the argument repeatedly that the brothers had not taken responsibility for their actions, that they were still making excuses for what happened, that they remained a danger to society, that they had not, as they put it, found that insight, that sort of a parole term. Again, it's another way of saying they hadn't taken responsibility for their actions. After court, of course, the defense attorneys and the family of the Menendez brothers, who have been very supportive of them, spoke out very, very elated about what had transpired.
The fact is, the Menendez brothers have done remarkable work, and today is a great day after 35 years.
But ultimately, we are here today with this result because of Eric and Lyle, because they chose to live their lives with clarity and a purpose of service that the judge was impressed by.
This is something my grandmother Joan has fought for 35 years. I really wish she was here today, but I'm really excited to give her the news.
So now what's next for the brothers? Well, there is a clemency hearing on June 13th. So that right there could set them free if the governor went ahead and sided with a positive ruling, if that happens, from the clemency board. Now, the other option, of course, would be a parole hearing where they are granted parole. That has not yet been scheduled. We'll keep you posted on all of these developments. Reporting from Van Nuys, I'm Tom Waite, KCAL News.
And this just in, we're hearing from LA County DA Nathan Hochman. Tonight he says in part, the case of the Menendez brothers has long been a window for the public to better understand the judicial system. This case, like all cases, especially those that captivate the public, must be viewed with a critical eye. Our opposition and analysis ensured that the court received a complete and accurate record of the facts. Justice should never be swayed by spectacle.
Well, this case has been closely watched all over the world, with legal experts weighing in.
KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk. Now, Mike, there have been several legal maneuvers in the case.
Yeah, Juan and Susie, this has definitely been kind of a legal kind of nightmare for a lot of people, circus, if you will, for a lot of people trying to figure out the different ways to get this done and move through this. There were several legal options that we told you about for the brothers to attain freedom. And all of this has kind of culminated into this point right here, where they are now eligible for parole after being resentenced to 50 years to life. Now, legal experts are weighing in, saying that there are a lot of factors in this. One of those factors is being who heard the case. Remember, the judge did not side with the new DA, Nathan Hochman, in his request to withdraw his office's support for resentencing, something that Nathan Hochman decided he didn't want, and he listed a whole slew of reasons for that. So they didn't get what they wanted from the judge on that. And now one legal expert we spoke to says the judge really played a big role in this.
Oftentimes, these types of motions do come down to a sympathetic judge versus one that just doesn't want to hear it. And hats off to this judge for being able to really just look at the case in his own fair and partial way and find that the Menendez brothers, under this California Youth Authority law, have demonstrated enough rehabilitation and remorse to be considered for parole. It was a bold move by a judge. I don't know that other judges would have done the same thing.
Yeah, you know, during the press conference after the hearing today, we did hear from the defense team for the Menendez brothers that essentially echoed the same thing, the family thanking the judge. Now, you know, the judge set aside 2 days for this hearing. They were supposed to be back in court tomorrow. The judge, though, wrapping it all up in one, guys.
Well, Mike, we just heard Mr. Shapiro talking about the Youth Offender Parole Act.
Right. Yeah, Mike, that actually played a pretty big role in this resentencing, right?
Yeah, it did. So there's a couple of reasons, right? People hear 50 years to life and think, hey, wait a minute, they've not been in prison for 50 years. They've only been in prison for 35. There's 2 reasons here in the state of California why that is happening. Essentially, they only really have to serve a third of their sentence. They would have been eligible, even without the Youth Offender Act, to be serve only 20 years or 25 years before they were being able to be released. The Youth Offender Act is something that they are able to take advantage of now that was not in place back in the 1990s when they were originally convicted. It essentially says that if you're under the age of 26 and you have committed some sort of violent crime, you could be eligible for parole. If sentenced to parole, you could be eligible for parole after only 25 years of your sentence instead of whatever the determination was to serve the full sentence. So while this crime happened in the 90s, the resentencing technically is happening today, right? So they get to take advantage of all of the laws that have been passed since the 1990s when they were originally sentenced. The youth offender law is one of them that was taken into consideration today, guys.
Yeah, they've been in there for more than 3 decades.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, thank you. We'll stay with KCAL News and KCALnews.com for the very latest and all these legal twists and turns in the Menendez brothers case as their attorneys push for their release. We're also streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles.
And to next weather now, with gusty winds still blowing in parts of Southern California tonight.
And that's expected to continue overnight, right, Danny?
That's exactly right, Juan and Susie. All because of this storm. We've been tracking this guy. He's making his way to the north of us into the Great Basin, and that's what's generated the winds that we've seen out there. For some of us at home, it has been downright blustery out there today, and you can see a live look at Santa Monica. That camera, it's still moving and grooving. It's dancing because of the wind that we're seeing for our beaches, our mountains, and also our desert community. So you can still see how windy it is in the Antelope Valley. We've got gusts up to 36 miles per hour in Lancaster. We've seen stronger gusts than that this afternoon, 40 in Palmdale miles per hour. And then also for our Ventura County coastline, things are letting up a little bit through Orange County. And also through Santa Clarita, we've got gusts nearing 20 miles per hour. Now going into tomorrow, we are gearing up for a midweek warm-up. Today was a little bit cooler out there. It was a little breezy. We had the sunshine. Tomorrow we'll see plenty of sunshine out there, 50s to start the day. And we're ending the day in the upper 70s in some areas. 78 degrees over in the valley, 77 in the Inland Empire, 5 to 10 degrees warmer than today. Los Angeles and Orange counties, we're back to the lower 70s. So coming up, we'll talk about how long these warmer temperatures stick around, and we're going in depth on your upcoming weekend. That's coming up in your next weather.
All right, sounds good, Danny. Thank you so much. President Trump will meet with Syria's new president in Saudi Arabia tomorrow during the first overseas trip of his second term. The president arriving in Saudi Arabia this afternoon. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman gave him a lavish greeting with Saudi fighter jets and Arabian horses. The president attended an investment summit with CEOs of several American companies. The White House announcing Trump secured $600 billion of Saudi investments for the U.S. The deal stressed the foundation of his foreign policy, promoting American interests over issues like human rights.
Far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders and use U.S. policy to dispense justice.
The president also announced he will be lifting sanctions on Syria that were aimed at a longtime dictator overthrown last year. The move is an economic lifeline to Syria. We have some breaking news tonight. The LA County Sheriff's Department in pursuit of this car, and it looks like it's going pretty slow.
Indeed. Let's go up to Desmond Shaw live in KCAL for the very latest. They're almost at a standstill there, Des.
Yeah, Juan and Susie, and this has been so far a very slow-speed pursuit of an alleged stolen vehicle here. LA County Sheriff's deputies from the Crescenta station, despite this definitely being a capable straight-line vehicle here, this Dodge Challenger, I believe, so allegedly stolen. We had heard about this from the Crescenta Valley station, so kind of on the border of La Cañada and Pasadena, I believe, but we're in the heart of downtown Pasadena right now. You can see Colorado and Los Robles, so fortunate that we are going slow because it is dinner time and you have a ton of people that are out here walking around. This has been, it almost seems like the suspect's kind of been taunting the sheriff's deputies, because I've heard them multiple times say that they thought it was over, he had stopped, and they even said detaining at gunpoint, and then right after they said that, he took off again. So it's just been kind of this on again, off again, will he, won't he kind of thing. One person in the vehicle, they know that despite the typical pursuit tent that we have here, and I believe we have LA County Sheriff's deputies helicopter overhead now. Pasadena's had been lending some air support, but they are behind this on the ground. They had the pit maneuver authorized as well. They probably don't want to do that on Colorado Boulevard. So we'll see how they handle this. And, you know, if this is going to continue, hopefully it continues at least at this kind of parade-style speed eastbound on Colorado right now. Juan, Susie, and Mike.
Desmond, do you know if there's a minimum speed for the pit maneuver? Or not really?
I don't think so, no.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them turn them around pretty much at a stop, or maybe, you know, when they're in the single digits. We know that the top speed is between kind of 30 and 40 miles an hour, but we haven't even gotten close to those speeds this entire time. But I mean, the way the suspect's going could also be a good opportunity for some spike strips to just get out there. But I mean, look, it's almost like we're just kind of cruising around. This guy's just in denial of the units behind him right now. Very strange. So maybe once we get out of downtown Pasadena, we'll see a pit maneuver. But you can see with all these parked cars and everything, you know, and especially because the suspect's going so slow, they're not exactly in a hurry at this point necessarily to, you know, bring this to a crashing end. So hopefully the opportunity will present itself where it's not going to endanger anyone or anyone else's property. And they're right there, right on cue. There's a sheriff's deputy's helicopter in the scene as well.
And earlier, were they stopped at a stoplight, an actual light, or were they just taunting police again, or the sheriff's department again, Desmond? Are
I think they've just been stopping at every light. Yeah, obeying the lights, and maybe even stopping when there wasn't a light on some other streets. I know it was at Orange Grove and the 134 at one point, and that was when we had heard sheriffs saying detained at gunpoint, and then 1 second later, the suspect continuing. So, yeah, we'll see if we can at some point maybe get in front of the vehicle and see inside what the driver's doing, if they're on the phone or what is going on. But I mean, look, we're struggling to even get into double-digit speeds on this one. So, you know, obviously at least sheriff's not having any trouble keeping up right now. They've got it covered from the ground and the air. Let's see if we're going to be making a turn off of Colorado onto Lake Avenue, which will take us kind of into another busy commercial corridor of Pasadena as we kind of double in. Can't really see through. Really got that dark tint. Pretty typical for pursuits here in the LA area. Yeah.
And it looks like a pretty nice car, Desmond. The tires look substantial there, the dark tint.
I mean, this is a Dodge Challenger. He could really let this car rip and, you know, go really fast if he really wanted to, known as a muscle car, right? But obviously not doing that tonight for whatever reason. And stopped here when he or she could be making a right turn signal, but they're not doing so, or right turn, I'm sorry. They're not doing so, but it looks like it's almost like they want to do it, but they're changing their mind, or, you know, thinking of another plan right now. But looks like they're going now, making that right turn onto Lake Avenue, and this will take them closer to the 210 freeway, headed up here. And I don't know if they're going to pull over or not, but it looks like, I mean, it looks like they want to slow down for some reason.
Let's see what's
and
happening
maybe
here.
pull over, but then again, as Desmond was talking about, they have been known to taunt those sheriff's deputies multiple times. Even at one point, the sheriff's deputies saying that they, you know, had this person detained at gunpoint, which means that they had their guns drawn, you know, doors open, and stopped this car, and then they decided to go ahead and press that accelerator again and just keep going. But it looks like that's what we're doing again here. The doors are open, Desmond.
Oh,
Yeah, the door is open. A window is, well, window's down. Oh, hey,
Keys
there we go.
around.
Tossing. Looks like they're tossing the keys out. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, definitely what we want to see here. So, you know, unless he has another set of keys, it should mean it's over. Not sure why it took this person so long, but all of a sudden, this, you know, within just a couple of minutes of us getting overhead, they decide to comply on this one. You know, I don't know if there was maybe potentially a language barrier or something, just to give them the benefit of the doubt, but definitely one of the more bizarre ones. But I mean, you're right, Susie, this car definitely, I mean, we've definitely seen some pursuits with Chargers, with Challengers out there, and I mean, they can go so fast that, you know, they can get away from authorities pretty quickly, but not the case tonight. And all of a sudden now we are seeing compliance, the keys thrown out, windows out, doors now open. And, you know, if we continue to see this in the next minute or so, we should have a code 4 all clear pretty quickly.
I've often seen these cars on the 210, Desmond. As Susie was saying, it might be heading in that direction. They're fast, they are loud, but in this case, this pursuit, a very slow pursuit on the streets there of Pasadena, Lake Avenue and Colorado Boulevard, a pretty busy area, right? Especially in the evening hours as people start heading home from dinner there. And this driver finally, after leading police on a very slow pursuit, finally giving up, and looks like he's being very obedient, very compliant too, right?
And it just makes you wonder what suddenly changed his mind. You know, he was, fleeing from police for so long, and then, going slow, and then, stopping, and then going, and stopping and going, obviously wanting to evade police, maybe changing his mind those times too, who knows? But finally, it seems like he changed his mind for the better to stop and pull over and actually obey the orders of those sheriff's deputies. And it looks like that's what he's clearly doing, because everything that we have seen so far is exactly what their commands would be, starting with those keys being thrown out the window of the car. And it looks like they're not having him lie flat, face down on the street there, Susie. They're having him slowly back up towards officers. They're going to bring him into custody. And I'm guessing it's because of his demeanor, him being so compliant. Oh, he is going to go down, at least on his knees, right? I think. They want him closer to him. He was able to throw out that large keychain there that we saw. It looked like some keys on a lanyard. And then he took his hands out, showed his hands, opened the car door from the outside. And now it looks like this driver of a stolen Charger, right, is now in custody of the officers there on scene. And this all starting in the La Cañada / Pasadena area. But it looks like it is coming to an end with the suspect under arrest. All right, moving on to other news now. Just more than 4 months after the fires, a major announcement tonight from one of the state's biggest insurers. Assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk with this one. Mike, this has been a highly debated request from State Farm.
Yeah, Susie, State Farm has been asking for more money. They want to do a rate hike on their customers, and the customers say, hey, that's not fair. We've been paying into this the whole time. We can't afford to pay you any more money, especially after so many people lost everything. Well, today the insurance commissioner approved the rate hike. It is different than what State Farm originally wanted. We'll show you some of those numbers here because it impacts everybody from homeowners to renters. 17% increase on homeowners, 15% increase on renters and condo owners, and a 38% increase on people that own rental dwellings. Essentially, if you're the owner of an apartment building that rents out units to people. Now, as I mentioned, this is less than what State Farm originally wanted. They wanted that 22% increase. Ricardo Lara, the state insurance commissioner, has taken a lot of heat in recent months about his handling over insurance in the state, especially when it comes to the Los Angeles and California wildfires. He says that because of that, he turned this case over actually to an independent judge who came up with this recommendation. Lara saying today that he adopted the judge's recommendation on this. Now, this is all temporary. They will go into effect here pretty soon, but the State Farm will need to do more to prove that they permanently need these increases. As of now, this is only being done on an interim basis. It could be permanent, though. Lara, in response to claims that he is not doing enough to make sure that State Farm is actually paying out the money, said he will hold them accountable. No further comments on what exactly that means or how he plans to do that. A lot of critics say that there have been a lot of complaints about State Farm not paying out the money. They accuse Lara of not doing enough. He says he'll be on top of it, guys.
Change is on the way, Mike. Thank you so much. All right, to weather now. After some cooler weather today, we are in store for a midweek warm-up.
Ooh la la.
Here's Danny Roberti to tell us how warm things are going to get.
I know, thankfully not as hot as this last weekend one, but I think this is just perfect. This is going to be the sweet spot for the rest of the week.
We love that.
So we're looking at those 70s. It's the Goldilocks day, not too hot, not too cold. just right out
We love
there.
it.
So it is going to feel a little bit warmer out there. We're going to get some sunshine. Let's get you and your family prepared. So slightly warmer in the Inland Empire. Today it was a chilly day and we had the wind out there. Upper 60s today. By the time we get to tomorrow, everybody's going to be feeling about 5 to 10 degrees warmer, mid 70s tomorrow. So let's talk about what's next. We're still going to be breezy going into tonight and we're going to wake up to some morning clouds, but they're going to peel away pretty quickly. We'll get some pretty sunshine in the afternoon. There's that midweek warm up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then slightly cooler going into the weekend. So let's jump right to the weekend. We're going to be in the 70s tomorrow. By Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at mid 60s. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. There's even a slight chance for some light rain. And when I say light rain, it's really looking like sprinkles and some drizzle out there. We'll talk about it. But let's back things up and let's talk about tomorrow morning. This is our Make Rayometer. We're looking at a little early grade beaches, western valleys, and then sunshine in the afternoon. Now, right now, it's still pretty blustery through our high deserts and also up in the mountains where we still have wind advisories in effect. So breezy through tomorrow morning. And then we do wake up to some clouds and it is a little bit chilly out there. We've got morning lows in the 50s, not as cold as this morning, but still cool. And then we get to the afternoon and it's really just looking like a pretty day. So 71 in downtown Los Angeles. I'll mention this is still below average, but we've got the sunshine that's going to make it feel better out there. 77 in Santa Clarita, 77 in San Bernardino. We're going to keep that steady through Thursday, Friday, end of the week. Then 60s this upcoming weekend, much warmer early next week with mid 70s. Valleys, upper 70s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, cooling begins and even cooler on Saturday. Take a look at the Inland Empire. You're going to see Saturday night into Sunday, a chance for some light rain. So coming up, we're going to go in depth on the weekend. The cooler, cloudier conditions with a chance for drizzle. We'll break that down for you in your next weather.
All right, Danny, thank you so much. A record amount of people expected to travel on Memorial Day weekend.
Plus, as Inglewood prepares for the LA Olympics, Hollywood Park shares plans that'll endure long after.